Okay, so can you start by telling me your name and a little bit about yourself and how you work with students um, in the career path development plan?
Okay. My name is Annie Perry. I am the Adolescent Parenting Program Coordinator for Franklin Graham Advanced Smart Start. What I do, I work with adolescents up to age 19 who are pregnant or parenting for the first time. My initial goals for them is to help them to create a path that's going to lead them towards graduation. In that process, a lot of things that we do as far as helping them to obtain wraparound services that will ensure them the comfort level that they need to remain in school. And that could be anything from getting child care to making sure that they have their baby well checkups as well as their annual physicals for themselves. We are to learn about different parenting skills. So I have parenting skill classes for them. We do home visits where we reiterate that parenting skills, and everything is done with science-based, career-oriented materials. So everything has to be proven that it works.
Okay.
So, yes.
What led you to working in teen living with teen moms?
Well, I've actually, it's very personal for me. As you go on in your career path, you're going to learn that a lot of things we're drawn to because you have a passion for it. And that could be anything from whether you love electronics, if somebody's in the scientific field. For me, because I myself was a teen parent, is the reason why I do what I do with such vigor. I know what it's going to take in order for them to actually have the opportunity to have betterment. So, being a teen mom myself and knowing what it takes, the support that's needed, is why I do what I do and I do it well. As far as kids, I've always loved working with children. So I've been doing this for over 25 years. Actually, from a Boys and Girls Club standpoint to actually working with pregnancy prevention and primary pregnancies for over 25 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you started, what challenges did you face?
You always have to deal with parent structure, the home environment, because no matter how you think you were raised, you can't go into anybody's home and try to tell them whether they are parenting correctly. And so, what is correctly? There's no set definition. So you have to be willing to do what we call is change talk. You have to let somebody be responsible and take control of their own thoughts and their own. Because a lot of people say things like, "I only did that because you told me," and now look, it didn't work. So having somebody to be guided and you affirm them for what little progress they make. It could be just by making a baby well appointment for their child. When you're accustomed to somebody else doing everything for you, and then you yourself have to be the one doing it, it changes things. So, change talk gives them incentives, affirmation to do what they need to do. Get up in the morning time. You got to make sure you fix your baby's diaper bag. If your baby is going to a child care center, there are certain requirements about a child care center that you got to bring. So there's requirements on everything. You got to go to class. Nobody said you had to like it. It's a part of the progress process of you doing what you need to do to graduate. People try to use an excuse and say things like, "The teacher don't like me." You're not there for the teacher to like you, and you're not there for them to like for you to like them or them like you. You're there to get whatever that curriculum is, and whether or not you choose to abide by the rules so you can get it, because it's a whole lot of other theatrical things that goes on in the classroom. If you choose to become a part of that, then you've chosen not to partake in what you need to get out of that class. So it's simple. To whom much is required, to whom much is given, much more is required. So you can't keep life is everybody can make an excuse of why you won't do, can't do, and shouldn't do. But then when it comes to whatever it is that you wanted to do, then you didn't do what you were supposed to do to get there. Everybody has an instant grits or think it's a Burger King mentality that you can have it your way.
Right.
No such thing. The real world doesn't operate like that. So I do what I do because I know what's required. Because if you don't graduate, Vance County has nothing for them. We are a tier 1 county, meaning you are one of the poorest counties out of 100 counties in this state. Tier 1, you're poor. So if you have a poor mentality, along with living in a poor environment, the chances of you escaping that is going to be slim and none. So dreamers dream. But if you've never seen anybody achieve anything, you don't have a dream. You don't have anything to strive for. If nobody's in your corner telling you, for instance, if nobody was in your corner telling you, Christian, you better stay in school. Christian, you better do this. Christian, this is required of you. Then you will become just like, I know you've known somebody who's not doing something. Had the same opportunity as you had, but they decided that they didn't need to. They were smarter than the average bear. I call it the Yogi Bear syndrome. So because you're so smart, stupidity seeps in. And you become one of those ones that's standing on the corner all day long. And you wonder why crime, you wonder why gangs, you wonder why all the mischiefs of this world happen. Because you didn't choose wisely. You didn't recognize the power of choice. And so that's why you either go down the road and you go the wrong way.
What are some skills you've acquired while working with your children or with your students?
That everybody has a story. It may not be your story, but to listen to people. A lot of times it's not what you say, but how you say it. And to be able to hear someone and understand that you can be able to tell if somebody wants to escape from where they are. You have to learn to be compassionate. When you're working in any human service field, it's really not about you. It's not about you. And to be able to hear and to discern and understand that every sob story is not necessarily sob. So people know how to read off of you as well as you read off of them. And they know when they can use you and repeatedly use you because of your kindness. Kindness is a gift. And you're supposed to extend yourself. But nowhere is it written that you're supposed to extend yourself for somebody who wants to take your kindness for granted. So balancing what you feel and knowing that you cannot inject your feelings in somebody else's life because that's not your place. Your place is to figure out pathways that you can show them if they choose to take that they can go. So learning the fine tune of listening, and not every sob story is a sob story. People do what people want to do. And if you want to get out, then I'm there to help.
How have you used your skills you've attained while working with children in your own life?
I'm a self-motivator first. And then I inject that from me to my children. They are required to do X, Y, and Z because I've shown them through my own actions. I lead by example. I didn't go to school and then told my children that they have a choice whether they want to go to school. I didn't care if they went to Hamburger University, but they were going to school. So that was instilled in them early on, that I require this of you for you to do this. So learning to fine tune that and knowing that you gotta first motivate yourself, then your family, and then it spreads outward. So knowing that I can help everybody else and not take care of home, then I'm out of order.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that I need to make sure that I'm always in check. When I decided to go to school, it was 7 years after I graduated from high school, after going to work at a sewing factory. And I had my first child already. And I was dumb enough to fall in love, I thought, and I had a second child. So college went out of the way at that point for me. So after I decided, look, this working in a sewing factory every day, this is definitely not what I wanted to do with my life. I went to Vance Granville. I graduated from Vance Granville. I was mentored by some really strong people who's like, no, you don't need to stop here. You need to either go to North Carolina State or go to North Carolina Central to carry on and become a junior and get your bachelor's. And so I graduated from Vance Granville, and on a Saturday, that Sunday, I was at North Carolina Central. So I did that, and then I always had a goal that I wanted to get my master's. So in 2008, I did that. Was it easy? No. But then I always had another goal. I wanted to get my PhD. And 2013, I started that process. So they give you at Walden University 8 years to complete your goal. And that's even if you take a sabbatical and, don't go a quarter or a year. It depends on, because life happens. Life happens to people. And, you have to alter what you thought your plan A was. But that's the importance of plan B. And then a plan C, and thus far, go on. Mm-hmm. So I'm in that program now. I just came back from my second residency. And yes, to whom much is given, much is required. I am so tired, but I press. You got to know what you want to do. There are plenty of people who are dream killers that are out there. Mm-hmm. And they will surely squash your dream if you allow them to. But the thing about life is you got to know what you want inside. And that's what motivates me. I know what I want. I know I can't. I used to think I could wear a cape and help everybody. But I know there are some people that are going to fall between the cracks. And that's just life. Mm-hmm. Because they choose to not want to listen. Advice is a wonderful thing. You can get advice from people. Then you differentiate what part of that advice is good for you. That's what you take. Because every piece of advice is not good advice. Mm-hmm. And every piece of advice doesn't pertain to what you need. But you have to discern what is it that you need. Always be willing to hear advice and then take what you need from that. That's how you become wiser. Because you've chosen what you need to get to the next level. Mm-hmm. So that's what motivates me. When somebody gets it, it's like the world just lights up. Mm-hmm. And when they come back and say, Miss Perry, I did this. It's wonderful to hear somebody who is working hard. Their family structure is intact. They're buying their first house. They've gotten an employment that is suitable to maintain it. They're not at the DSS looking for help anymore. Mm-hmm. Everything, those tools are supposedly used as a bridge. While you're trying to get your education, use them. Because your income at that point meets that need. It's wonderful when I hear those girls say, I no longer need to go and get food stamps. I no longer need to go and get any work first. Mm-hmm. My family, I don't live in subsidized housing. I'm able to get the apartment that I want or the house that I want. Those are the things that give me gratification. Mm-hmm. And lets me know that what I'm doing is not in vain. So that's how I get motivated.
What is some advice you would give to someone that would take your place as an educator and someone that educates these young girls or in the teen living program?
Work hard, not allow the sideshows of the world take you off track.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how if you have a goal, everybody don't want to see you succeed. And it's so true, that old saying, misery loves company. If Nene is not doing anything, and Nene and you are friends,
Mm-hmm.
Nene is not going to encourage you to be something that she's never going to be. So a lot of times you might have to change your inner circle. It doesn't mean that you think less of Nene, but Nene is not on the path that you're trying to get to. So you got to change your circle and look to somebody who has what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not selfish, because you, birds of a feather, flock together. And those are old sayings, but they are relevant today. If you want to achieve, you got to be around an achiever, somebody who's doing big things. And if you want to do bigger things, get around somebody who's doing bigger things. Be their intern. I remember hearing a story about a young man who asked to be an intern at a Fortune 500 company. He said, "You don't even have to pay me. I just want to be around you so I can learn how to do what you do." That young man is over a millionaire. Because he surrounded himself with somebody who had what he wanted. So, and that's the best advice I can give anybody. Dream killers are alive and well. And dream killers can come in your intimate circle. It could be people that are close to you that would tell you, "Why are you doing that?"
Mm-hmm.
I go to this job. I'm making it. Why are you? What makes you so special that you think that you should be going to get a bachelor's or even higher? What makes you think that?
Me personally?
No, no.
Oh,
I'm just saying in general.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So people will come at you like that. You think you this. Oh, I am. I know who I am. Know who you are. It's not what somebody call you. It's what you answer to. If you know who you are, when somebody call a name that's not you, you don't even turn your head. So for people who told me I would never be anything, those people motivated me to be everything that I am today. And I tell everybody else, they can do what their heart desire is. But for everything that you do, there's a cost.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fortunate that education is a part of that structure. How can you tell me about money if you don't know how to count?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody can just give you a lot of money. If you can't count it, then somebody can take advantage of you very easily. Knowing your worth, knowing who's around you, all those things are important. And knowing when to disassociate with people who don't share your vision.
Mm-hmm.
Say it's okay to speak to them, hey, in passing. But we can't do the same thing and then expect a different result. So knowing when to say when.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you for answering my questions.
You are so very welcome.